Yes.
That's Satan, man.
Nope.
That's Satan.
What?
If you're gonna come out here and fucking
polyester, I'm not sure if I'm wearing polyester right now.
That's fucking slavery.
According to the new.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Why are
I'm not. I'm not under the ceremonial law anymore.
Why are you not? That would be real work.
About Old Testament stuff.
Well, the Old Testament is still legitimate. The Old Testament is still something we should listen to as the Word of God. It doesn't mean just throw the whole thing out just because we're not under the ceremonial law anymore.
Cherry picking.
No, I'm not cherry picking.
Exactly.
No, read the Bible and you'll understand what I'm saying.
I've read the Bible. I used to be religious.
Kids.
I've highlighted verses.
Well, you're still religious. You still have a belief system that you use to make sense of reality. Yeah, you do.
You make such a
Now it makes
difference in
sense
the
of
planet.
reality.
Well, like, how do you know the nature of reality in your worldview? What do you put your faith
Oh
in?
my gosh, you did so much
Science.
acid.
Evolution science? How do you know that evolution happened?
Gosh, you did so much acid. Look at your.
Yeah. Well,
What are you?
how do you do
man?
science,
are you
ma'am?
protesting abortion or what are you
Ma'am,
fucking protesting?
ma'am, how do you know what the nature of reality is? How do you
'Cause now
know?
you're trying to preach
How do you
religion
know
to
that the
other people.
perceptions of your consciousness?
How do you know
How do you know that the perceptions of your?
fucking say slavery's okay.
Ma'am, how do you know that the perceptions of your consciousness are correct?
I've already asked you.
Science book.
Yeah, but you use your perceptions from your consciousness to see those science books, right?
Talking to the children.
So how do you know that your consciousness is giving you the correct perception of reality?
Their parents are not here. Stop talking.
How do you know that you have a brain? How do you know that you have a brain?
How do you know you have a brain? Are you on acid? How much drugs did you
These are
do?
important questions to think about.
You are a drug addict. You've got to be on a trip.
No, this is philosophy.
How do you know?
This is philosophy. They don't teach students philosophy. That's why they don't
No.
understand these questions.
No, they don't
They don't teach
understand
people philosophy, so they don't understand these questions. They don't teach
Really?
people about epistemology,
Oh,
how they know what they know.
Oh, yeah, but you learned
So
that in this church.
and I'm the dumb guy who comes to
yes.
Literally you are.
the high school. I'm the dumb guy who comes to the high school.
Their parents are
and they're not
here.
being taught about philosophy.
Their parents are not here.
6th grade.
What about it?
You cannot talk to them. Their parents are not here to consent.
Again, ma'am, how do you know?
cannot talk
How do
to
you know
them.
that you have a brain?
Their parents are not here to consent
My
that.
head right now, you would see it.
But you're using your consciousness to
shouldn't be
take in that
talking to the
the image of that brain, right?
You shouldn't be talking to the kids.
Well, the thing is, if God didn't exist, I wouldn't be able to know anything.
Here. Their parents
Without
are
the
not
biblical
here.
worldview in which God reveals to
Their
us the nature of
parents
reality,
are not here.
I don't know everything, so
You
I could always be
don't know
wrong.
her religion.
So I have to put my
Her
faith in what
father
God
is
says about
not
the nature of
here.
reality, because He has all
You
knowledge.
cannot be talking
And
to
without
that
revelation
child.
from an all-knowing being, you can't know
You
the nature of
cannot be
reality.
talking to that
Because you don't have all
child.
knowledge, right?
Her parents are not here. Her parents are not here.
Being up in the sky.
You cannot talk to her.
Well, no, God,
You
I'm
cannot
I'm
talk
saying
to
that
her.
knowledge is not possible
You
unless
cannot
there is
talk
an
to her.
all-knowing being who reveals to us the
Hey,
nature of
listen,
reality.
Dude, her parents are not here. You cannot talk to her.
Well,
You cannot
Again, in your worldview, you cannot prove that you actually have a brain.
talk to
You can't
her.
prove that in your worldview in which God has not revealed to us the nature of
Stop
reality.
talking to her.
Well, God tells us that He created human beings in His
We don't
image and
teach
put them on
God
planet
here.
Earth with a
We
soul
don't
and a
teach God
body
here.
to be productive
We
for His
don't
glory.
teach Christian
So
God
God
here.
gave us a brain to make sense of scientific
don't
experiments.
teach
And so in that
religion
worldview,
here.
I can make sense of science
We
because
don't teach
I can trust what
religion.
my mind is telling me
You don't
because
know
I believe that God
science.
created my mind
You don't know
to use to
science.
do those scientific
Don't talk
experiments.
to that child. Her parents are not
But
here.
if you randomly evolved out of stardust, your mind could be deceiving you, right? Because your consciousness just is the result of chemical reactions bouncing around, and those chemical reactions could be moving in a way that deceives you, right? And then this all could be just a giant illusion, right? So in the evolutionary worldview, that doesn't provide the preconditions for knowing things.
I know that abortion is wrong, but my little sister and her friend are 12 years old, and this is something that they do not need to see.
They do.
No,
They need to understand they're
You
living
are
in a
not her
Holocaust.
parents. This is taught at home.
They need to understand that they're living in a
This is
genocide, and they
taught at home.
can act to save these babies.
Religion.
They can be a
is
voice for these
taught
kids.
At home.
What was that?
You're talking about human rights, right? What do you say about women's rights? What do you say about the LGBT rights? I bet that you're out there protesting that shit. You're there protesting this, but you're
Well, I mean,
rights.
we're talking about human rights, and in the biblical worldview is the only worldview in which rights can exist.
That is a book that's been translated over and over and over.
Well, how do you have human rights in your...
My dad went to theology.
Yeah,
Okay? He was studying to be a
That's
priest.
what his.
yeah, and
Got out because your Baptist bullshit is bullshit.
I'm not a Baptist, but I follow the Bible. And the Bible is the foundation for morality. How do you know what's real and what's not real? How do you know what's right or what's wrong in your atheistic worldview?
These kids are from different
How do you know it's what's right or what's wrong? Because all these different people have all these different opinions about what's right or what's wrong, right?
Are you saying you can pretty much only think
Their
that
parents
there's
teach them
person
that.
in the sky telling you what to do?
Exactly. Because
Well, right. You can't know what's right or wrong unless there's a law that applies to all people. Unless there's a lawgiver that gives a law to all people that they're bound by, and they're going to be punished for if they break it.
Why are you not helping kids if you want to help kids? Why are you not volunteering? Why are you not?
So the atheistic worldview does not provide a foundation for morality. You cannot tell me that certain things are right or wrong. How do you know what's right or what's wrong in your worldview?
I know that slavery's not right, and I know that.
But a lot of people's brains, so-called brains in your worldview, a lot of people's brains result in doing wrong actions, like raping people.
From Indiana are the only moral barn members here. You know, because you stepped out of your barn and you think you're moral.
You need to think about that. Where do you get morality, ma'am?
From reproducing with your uncle like you did, and your family did. You reproduce with each other, and then you.
Where does morality come from? Because in an atheistic worldview, you know, you're just a random product of evolutionary processes.
Yes,
And why are humans valuable if that's all they are? You know, if they're not created in the image of God.
Because it's a life.
But that's
A life? Okay, why is it good for there to be life? Like, why is that? Why is there a moral imperative to protect life? Okay, so you're just stating how things happen, but you're not saying morality is all about what ought to happen, but what you're describing is what happens. So morality is not about describing what happens. Morality is about this should happen and this shouldn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Morality is like, you shouldn't do that. That's wrong for you to do that. It's not saying, oh, that just happens. Because, you know, rape happens. Is that moral? Okay, so how do you know that rape is wrong in your worldview?
It is.
So is incest.
What is the
common
penalty
sense
for rape in the Bible?
According to your worldview, how do you know it's common sense? Because some people think it's good to rape people, right?
What is the penalty
Some people
for
think
rape
it's a
in the
great thing to
Bible?
do to rape people.
Answer the question. What is the penalty for rape in the Bible? What is it?
But how do you know it's wrong? They say it's the right thing to do to rape people. They say that it's the right thing to do
Because it's an immoral.
because they want to do it. They say it's the right thing to do to murder millions of Jews, right? That's what Hitler thought. He thought that was the right thing to do.
No,
so who's right and who's wrong?
And wouldn't Jews go to hell?
The Catholics thought
They don't
that.
believe in Jesus.
I mean, if they didn't put their faith in Jesus Christ, they would go to hell.
Okay, so then why are you talking about
Wait, so
Hitler
you're
murdering
saying
the Jews? Apparently your God does the exact same thing.
Well, God did tell the Israelites to kill a certain people group, to enact judgment on that people group, because God does use certain people to judge other people, because those people were in rebellion against God.
And this guy that goes around murdering people.
No, God is the standard for morality, and what He tells us to do is how we know what's right and what's wrong.
Dude, you gotta respect people's religions. These kids have
They have no respect
Their
at all.
parents
Look
are
at
not
what they
here.
do. They have no respect. You don't respect
They all
anybody.
have different denominations, dude. You're talking to Jehovah's, to Baptists. You're talking to different denominations. You cannot inflict with their denominations, man. This gets taught at home. We have Baptist minions. We have Mormons.
If you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions. If you have questions about what we're here doing.
When their parents get here, you can ask the parent, hey dude, can I talk to your kid? And if they give you permission, you're more than welcome. But you cannot attack people's children without their parents'
I'm not attacking
consent.
children. I'm not attacking children.
You are talking to them.
I'm educating them.
You don't have any
Okay,
education
according to what
offer.
standard? What
That's
what
your
standard
opinion.
do you appeal
That
to
is
tell me that
your
I can't talk
opinion.
to high schoolers and middle schoolers without their parents'
Show me
consent?
your credentials.
Why?
I'll believe you. I'll believe you.
Why am I obligated to show you anything? I can do whatever I want when I'm trying to educate young people about the Holocaust.
To educate anybody about what Holocaust?
The kids who are being murdered in Tulsa.
Kids that
In the
are
womb?
murdered in Tulsa and
All right, I'm gonna leave. Can you look me in the face right now and say that slavery was condoned in the Bible? Just look me in the face. I just want you to say it. I just want you to say it.
Slavery was
Say it. That's all I want. Let's say it.
Slavery was not condemned in every circumstance in the Bible. I'm going to say that.
You are a
It was
moron.
not condemned
You
in
are a
every
moron.
circumstance. Not
You
every
are
form
a
of slavery.
moron. You are a fucking moron.
Your racist morality is an immoral text.
Talking
that says
to
it's
kids.
How do you judge what's moral, sir? Please tell me how you know it's moral.
It
It's
is
not
never
your
moral
decision. It's their
to
parents.
murder innocent people.
How do you know that? Where'd you get that?
It is
Where'd you get that
not
information?
your decision.
How do you know that,
It's their
man?
That
parents'
dense that you try to explain
decision.
it to you. You're a law.
All these
Oh, what's your worldview? What are you putting your faith in? What do you appeal to tell me that it's wrong to murder people?
You know, I took an oath to protect
It's
people.
their parents.
Yeah. Why is it good to protect people in your
Teach them
worldview?
their own religion.
Why is it good for people to be
Every
protected
second
in your
that I stand
worldview?
here and engage you is 1 second you're not bothering them. And that's all
You
I
can't even
really
answer
wanna
simple
do.
questions.
It's not even a simple question.
Yeah, it is. It's a really simple
You
question.
need to get a hobby, man. It's okay.
Untraveled,
Get a hobby. I don't know, paint models, do
uneducated,
whatever.
unworldly.
Okay.
You're a
I'm doing the will of God.
You're
Oh yeah, you're the
exactly
will of
what's
God.
wrong with the
I
United
know
States.
all about your buddy.
You and
I know
your
all about
kind.
your buddy, and all about all his crap.
And we're not
okay?
going to leave you because I'm following you all night.
Yeah.
And they
You
know
all
about it
you
'cause I
guys.
told them already.
Why don't you say where you're going to be before you're going to be there?
Because you
you're
know
afraid.
what? The front
You're
of your house
literally
where
Well,
you
that would
stay
inhibit the
here
work we're trying to
has
do.
a public
Afraid.
land.
You're right, it would limit.
Yeah, that's not a strategic.
You don't
That's
wanna
not a
have-
strategic thing to
Play
do,
with
right?
children. You're
What
playing
you-
with adults
What you
now.
definitely don't want is you don't want William showing up and debating you because you know he'll sink you.
Who?
William.
William?
He'll know him. He'll know.
Oh,
William will put you
I'm
into the
totally down to
I
debate
bet you
him,
are. I bet you
but I
are.
have to go
Look, you know
soon. So
what? I have to go
Now
soon.
that I have my child home, both of my children, my middle schooler and my high schooler, you do not have permission to address my children again. Do you understand?
I do have the right to do
No,
that.
you
If
do
I'm
not.
standing in a public area, I do.
am telling you right now, as a parent, that you do not have permission to address my children again.
Okay, that's your opinion.
And no, that is what I am
No,
telling
no,
you
no,
as a parent.
What authority are you appealing to
I am
tell me
telling
this?
you this
Te
as a
equivocaste,
Christian
pendejito.
myself.
So you're a
Do you
Christian?
understand
Sí,
that?
te equivocaste.
So
As a
where
Christian myself,
where does the Bible say that you're the only one who can educate your children?
My child, we are in the United States.
'Cause the
Okay,
front
we
of
are
your
in the
house has a
United
public
States.
street.
Okay, what about it?
We have the U.S. Constitution
I'm going
that
to the
guarantees
public
a
street
right
right in
to
front of
freedom of speech, yes, and a right to freedom of protest, yes, okay? But it also guarantees a right to freedom of religion, which you are infringing upon the rights of each and every
No.
individual student.
No, I'm
by
calling-
preaching
I'm
your drivel
teaching-
out
I'm
here.
teaching people
I am
about the one true
absolutely
religion.
appalled at
You
your
claim to be a
behavior.
Christian?
Yeah, have I cussed at you?
Do you understand that Christians are
Have I
supposed to go out and proclaim the gospel to lost
Do you
people?
realize that Christians are also supposed to follow the law?
No.
Yes.
Not when the law's tyrannical.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this?
We're not
officer?
obligated to
Yes,
believe
you
stupid
are.
laws that
You
people
are
just arbitrarily came up with.
absolutely required
we
to
and where
follow
you
the law
live.
because
Nope.
there is no law provided that God has not provided.
God's law is the only law that we are bound to, and what God tells us to obey is what we should obey.
Peter.
So that now they want to overthrow the government. They want to overthrow the government and institute biblical law.
You should know better as a former
Biblical
soldier.
law is the only law.
You should know better as a former
You're
soldier.
anti-American.
Look, you can believe that.
Don't
No,
believe
I-
the Constitution.
I'm a Christian, okay?
No, you are a
I follow
former
God.
United States soldier, and you are required to follow the Constitution.
No, I'm not. I'm not a
You
soldier anymore.
took an oath, and whether
He's
you
given up
got
his
or
oath.
not,
He gave up his
I'm
oath.
not a
whether you got or
I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm not
whether you
contracted
got
with the
out
army
or
anymore.
not, your PTSD butt is still required.
I don't have
to
PTSD.
uphold the Constitution.
No.
Yes, it is.
The Constitution is not a moral document
Constitution
inherently.
is a document for which you live in. Right now, the land for which you live in, no government and no institution has been put in place on this land that has not been provided by God. Read your Bible.
No, man.
Read your
No,
Bible.
ma'am.
Read your Bible.
And the
I have
Bible does
told you
not
this
teach.
repeatedly on
The Bible
Facebook
does not
also.
teach that.
Repeatedly.
Because there's the people who enact the laws, they're supposed to follow God's law too.
You know what?
And if they're
And they
not, then they're in
are
rebellion
following
against
God's
God.
law by telling
There's
you
no
that you
justice.
cannot do this.
There's no
You
justice.
cannot leave your signs there because Tulsa ordinances has stated that those signs, once you have walked away from them, are considered litter.
Yeah, but is the Tulsa ordinance the law of God? No.
It is the law for which you are standing in right now. You are in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
And I don't have to
you
obey
will
that law.
Respect our laws.
No, I don't have to.
Yes,
I don't
you
have
will,
to
and you
respect
will
the
respect
arbitrary
our citizens,
ordinances that people
and
come
you
up
will
with.
Respect our police, and you will respect the fact that a parent has come up to you and told you, if I catch you talking to my child again, I will look up your public information and I will personally have you served for harassment. Do you understand?
You're not acting like a Christian, ma'am.
Do you
need to understand that the government authorities are to obey the law of God. Everyone is under the law of God. The governmental authorities do not get to create their own morality.
Not to harass my children.
No.
I'm not harassing your children.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
you are.
No, I'm not.
I have Facebook Live video all over the place proving that you have been harassing my children.
No, I haven't been harassing them. I've been educating them.
No, you are not educating them.
Yep, I am.
And my daughter.
Okay? Not only that, I have watched you make a mockery of this woman all day.
A mockery? A mockery? In what way?
Post me on your website.
You have posted it on your Facebook.
Yeah, you're on there. I'm going to expose your evil foolishness.
Your uneducated followers have gone ahead and made comments about her appearance.
Who made comments about her appearance?
Why don't you go ahead and look at the comments?
I mean, I didn't make comments about her appearance. That doesn't.
You are inciting action that is actually not legal under your peaceful protest rights.
I can stand out here and I can educate whoever I want.
No.
Yeah, I can.
No, there are limits also to freedom of speech, and those limits are incitement. You may not incite.
I didn't incite anybody.
Yes, you are.
It's their choice to get angry at me. I'm not making them angry.
You are absolutely out here being insightful.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're my daughter.
What was that?
I don't want you near my daughter.
The fact that other Christian
I don't want
parents
you
are
near
having
my
to
daughter.
Okay, you can you can tell her what you want, but I'm going to continue to preach out here if I want to.
My daughter,
Who
and
is
I'm
more
coming to
Christian?
your house
The
tonight.
person
And there's a
who's
public
actually
road
helping
there.
somebody
You
that
couldn't even possibly get to my
coming.
apartment
I'm not
tonight.
leaving till you leave. And there's no way you're not gonna get airlifted from here unless you have a helicopter. Because I'm coming to the public street where he lives tonight with a bigger speaker.
I don't live in Oklahoma.
Well, I'll follow you to Indiana,
you
pretty
live in
boy.
Aurora,
I have more
Illinois.
money than you.
I don't live in Aurora, Illinois either.
I'll
Oh, plot
either
twist.
way, I can go
I'll
ahead and
follow you
dox
where you go.
Ma'am, you're not a Christian. You need to follow Jesus. You're not doing
I am
that.
telling you right now that the only rule that Jesus had was to love one another, and you are not acting in a loving manner.
By standing out here and educating people about a Holocaust?
Standing out here and refusing to respect, which also the Bible commands you, the people who are asking you to stop bothering their children.
And they don't have the right to tell me that.
Yes,
You don't
we do.
have the
No,
right to
they
talk
don't.
to my daughter.
I do have the right. If
No,
I'm
you
standing on a
don't.
public
Oh,
easement, I
sweetheart,
do.
no, you
I do.
don't. I'll fight you with my life.
You cite the Constitution. You cite.
No,
In public street.
Hold on.
You do what you want right there.